And we here once again, another episode burning the late night oil. It's one in the morning right now.
We burn. Yeah, we got the cruiser oil. We burning that thing. We
Hey.
burning that thing today.
But we here once again. This is Frankly Football. I'm Brandon. I got my main man with me, Mr. Set It Off, Chris. How you doing today, sir?
Hey man, we good, man. We late in the midnight hour doing our thing, man. But
that's right.
Got to get this content out, man, because the goal, man, is to keep content, fresh information out for people, man. So if you're taking time
for you
come
guys.
across your algorithm, go and hit that subscribe button, man.
Oh yeah,
it really helps us out, man. Hit the like button, man. That helps us as well. Take some time to spend it with us. Also drop a comment, man. But we're talking about now this 53-man roster, man, and how this thing panned out and how it looks a little bit different than what we're normally seeing in our Dallas Cowboys. Tell me what you think, B.
All right. So just like you said, the roster kind of got finalized today. We got our 53 guys now. And we gonna go position by position. I think it was honestly some surprises because I sent you my projection earlier today.
We went with the official. We got what the Cowboys said, but I want to go with the OG triple version. Okay. What Brandon Hart said. Okay. And I kind of saw what Brandon Hart was looking at.
All right. So obviously Mike McCarthy has a history of keeping three quarterbacks. We're gonna start there, obviously. Okay. And we always knew who those three were gonna be: Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci. Of course, the first two kind of go without question unless Andy somehow bombed. But Ben DiNucci was a draft pick by this coaching staff. So we knew that he was going to be on this team.
We had a good idea that if he came in, but there's been times that rookie or first-year players come in and they don't match the tempo of where they're trying to go. They don't have any command. They're not picking up the offense. They're not showing what they can do. It was a guy a couple years ago. We got him late, Mike White. We got Mike White out of Western Kentucky. Yes. And, a lot of people were kind of excited about him. I don't want to name the YouTuber who was kind of hyping him up, but they were really high on him. And when he didn't pan out, I was like, yo, what's going on? But it takes time for guys to get into it. And I think when we look at the development of this roster, we can see that it takes time, full training camps, and then just having the it factor. But DiNucci's had the it factor. DiNucci played at a very high level FCS program in James Madison. So we knew he was going to come in with a little bit of juice, and being able to sit in that room with those quarterbacks with that much experience and already having having a little bit of juice with them, it's going to be able to help them out a lot. I think it helps them down the road after this year, after this championship run, and Andy Dalton goes somewhere else and he plays. You got a young guy who's been inside your system for a year that you feel more comfortable with, way more comfortable than you felt in a very long time, that if your starting guy went down. I haven't felt like this with my backups being that good since 2016.
Yes.
When Tony Romo was the backup.
Yes.
I felt really good about that.
Now, I feel this way. I think that teams who take these quarterbacks late, their entire hope, if they aren't hoping for them to be the guy, their entire hope is to get a better return on investment than what they spent taking that guy. Meaning this. Let's say the Cowboys, let Dalton go on to his next destination after this year, and then eventually see an option where they can trade Ben DiNucci, let's say for a fifth-round pick or something to that effect. Any team is hoping to get an equal and or slightly greater value from it, especially a quarterback. And that's why they keep those guys. It's counterintuitive to the team's success to throw away a draft pick in that regard. So that's why I see him here.
I see him here. You're absolutely right. I see him here on a twofold measure. One, he's a young, talented guy. You got him for dirt cheap, which the Joneses love.
Yep, 7th round.
He has upside. The only way you're going to be able to get a better rate of return value on the return on this particular player is that Reigns got to get hurt and not play. And right now, I've never seen that.
Absolutely.
I've never had to worry about him getting hit and not getting up. Found some wood, knocked on it, So, down the road, but I also believe you can just get a guy inside the building 2, 3, 4 years. He gets an opportunity to be inside the NFL system, learn how to be an NFL quarterback. And if he moves on, great. Or if he's just a career backup, might not be what he wants to, but he'll be highly compensated.
Absolutely.
By being one.
Absolutely.
So, I love it. I love the fact we carry 3 quarterbacks. I never want to see Ben DiNucci play a snap.
Ever. Let's make that very clear. Ever.
Outside of the 2 preseason games, the NFL will probably go 2 after this year. That's the only time I want to see Ben DiNucci play.
Absolutely. So moving on. This is where the first, semi-surprise came. The running back position. Here we have Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Rico Dowdle.
Running back. I think Rico came out of South Carolina.
I believe so. I'm not quite sure.
I think I think Rico's the running back out of South Carolina. He's a guy.
But he's a special teams guy.
There you go.
Saywo, don't even get me to mispronouncing his last name.
Let's just say Saywo.
Yeah,
let's just say Saywo. And let's say one of the TCU running back guys. How about that? There we go.
But he wasn't going to be your special teamer. He was better at running back things than Rico is. And when you're looking at those fringe players, you got to throw your special teams coach a bone. And in order for you to be better than 32nd in special teams ranking, this is one of the spots where you should do it.
Listen, man, there you go. There you go, plucking the nerve, talking about that old special teams.
Hey, man.
I think you do, but you do right. You do right by it. You get a guy who has the ability to be a core special teamer guy, a guy who can play all 4, kickoff, punt, and field goal. He's just every down special teams guy. So, that'll be a benefit for Rico, and that'll help out a lot for the football team. But as for getting carries and snaps, I'm just looking at between good old Ezekiel and our main man, our little cousin, Tony, to do his thing this year. So that's what I'm looking at for that.
Did no fullback surprise you?
No fullback?
Yes.
Well, we don't have a traditional fullback.
There we go. Come on, speak on it.
I'm not surprised at all. We don't have a traditional fullback, so I'm good with the direction we went.
All right, yeah. We gonna get to that and how I think that position may be utilized, although a bit unorthodox. We'll get to that in a couple of positions. But in the meantime, wide receivers. I did not think that they were going to keep 6 receivers. I thought they were going to rock with 5.
You thought they were going to go with 5.
Yeah.
And that I think that's where you got in turnaround and you got the guys we end up getting. We talked about the Fabulous 3.
Yes.
And then the Hydra of wide receiving cores.
Yes.
Got that 3-headed monster. But I think the emergence of Cedric Wilson from last year, coming from being the guy that they drafted, and he turned around and having the opportunity to get healthy and then showcase his skills this year, I think that helped out a lot. I think a guy who we for a long time thought was just a guy proved to be a find and a steal. And he's a holdover from the last administration, and that's Noah Brown. Noah Brown was able to use the big body, work on doing some different things. I'm not even going to go back over that blasphemous statement that you almost made when we were sitting here talking earlier. He reminds you of another guy, the big body guy.
I just say he who he's built like.
Hey man, we don't listen, man. We try to get ourselves. We don't make statements like that. We don't do stuff like that, man. But he really showcased his skills by getting healthy and working and getting to the point that he can make this team. And Ventrell Bryant is just a core special teamer. So you turned around on the offensive side, 3 of those guys who we're looking at right now, the Rico Dowdle, Ventel Bryant, and Noah Brown are core special team guys, which help you out a lot.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody saw Noah Brown emerging in the way that he did. This is now his 4th camp with the Cowboys, and 3 times prior to this, he's, like you said, looked like just a guy. He looked like a guy that they were sending there to block and not do receiver things because he had never done receiver things particularly well. Now you got Noah Brown boxing out guys and making contested catches in practices, according to reports anyway. We haven't been able to see stuff like that. It's been
right, absolutely, right. The few videos we saw him making contested catches and things like that.
Absolutely.
But I think he had an opportunity. Last year he was hurt all last year.
Yes.
So if he was hurt all last year, he had a chance to get healthy and then just continue to work on his craft. So that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get better each year.
Absolutely.
That 3rd year for most guys is, the light comes on. And as we go through this, we'll touch on a few other guys. But he's the first guy, 3rd-year guy in the system, the light comes on. Kind of like what, Cedric said, this is Cedric's 3rd year in the system. Huh?
Oh, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, this is Cedric's 3rd year in the system. Boom, the light goes on. Noah Brown, 3rd year in the system. Boom, the light goes on.
Yeah.
So it ends up happening. That's what ends up happening.
Absolutely. But hey, more power to him because there was zero question who the top 5 guys were going to be. It was just the only question was, were they going to keep 6? Personally, I didn't think so. Ventel, I think due to them getting rid of some other guys, he's going to have to step up and be your new special teamer. And I'm really hoping that he can use his speed and make a lot of those, early stopping tackles. Stop guys short.
I think he'll be one of those guys. Definitely.
Absolutely. So next we got tight ends. Once again, this is a position that they went a little longer at than I initially thought. I thought that they were going to keep 3. Blake Jarwin, Blake Bell, and Dalton Schultz. No surprises there. But then they kept Sean McKeon. What do you think about that?
I always had Sean making the team. Remember, if we go back and look at our tight end when we talked earlier, from the time we picked him up,
yes,
I always thought Sean was going to be able to make the team. I think Sean McKeon, it will be your Dalton Schultz next year, whereas Dalton Schultz will turn around and be Blake Bell this year. Okay? So I think that 3rd year, going back to when we talked about 3rd year, I think Dalton Schultz, the light came on for him as well. Being in a room his rookie year, trying to figure this thing out with an aging Jason Witten and a emerging Blake Jarwin. He was just trying to figure it out. Then he turns around his 2nd year, and he's kind of starting to feel his way around, starting to understand a little bit more. He's becoming more comfortable in what he knows in the system, in the league. And then this year, coming in, he knew what he was doing. When you don't have to think about it, you can just react and flow. You can play fast, and I think that's what never happened. Because we always knew that Dalton was a good blocker, right, and a potentially good guy because we saw what he was doing in Stanford. Just translating it into the field was different, and like I've always said, it's hard to do that when an old man's sitting there telling you to get off his lawn and you can't get snaps in practice.
Sad to see, man.
Yeah.
Sad to see.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I was kind of, working at when I talked about the fullback position. I think that the Cowboys are going to be using guys like your Blake Bell, who had packages specifically like this. Remember, they called it the Belldozer package,
right?
Where they would put him in at fullback and give him the ball. Other pro teams already currently do this. Look at our most recent Super Bowl champion. Travis Kelce got balls in rushing multiple times throughout the season. And I could really see the Cowboys taking advantage of some of our tight ends who have experience doing that same thing. Remember, where did Blake Bell come from? Came from Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I could see them using someone like him or maybe even Dalton Schultz. I wouldn't want Jarwin doing it personally, but that's me.
That's my downfield. That's my pass catching tight end. That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
If
So you
follow
get one of those
certain
guys
things,
as a lead blocker, or maybe even give him the ball, every now and then, just to throw a little spice in the meal. I'm okay with it every now and then. But that is how I could see them utilizing the fullback position, lining a tight end up right there.
I think that you're spot on with it, Brandon. That's what it's going to be. You're going to have Blake be that second tight end. You'll have the third tight end be Dalton. Dalton's going to be that blocking tight end. But then you never put you don't go back to putting guys and doing things that they don't do well. That's the one thing Mike McCarthy said coming in. I'm going to get guys who do things well, and what they do well, we're going to put in position to do that.
Yep.
Blake Jarwin doesn't block. He doesn't block well at all. That's not he's not George Kittle's.
That's right.
He's a poor man, Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce don't do a whole bunch of blocking.
Hot take.
He maybe do some getting away stuff, but he ain't doing no blocking.
That's a piping hot take right there. That's a piping hot take right there.
We threw a little guy on into the season there, but I think that's what ends up happening. He's a poor man, Travis. He's a poor man, Travis Kelce, and I think you get, you get Dalton, you get Blake Bell, Dalton Schultz, and even you turn around looking into the future, you get Sean McCohen. He will be your Dalton Schultz next year. And moving Dalton Schultz up into position that Blake Bell does, because the Cowboys love cheap, athletic talent.
Absolutely.
What they want.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense. I like to move with the 4 tight ends.
So here we go. Here's where we get, into one of our core positions. Where I think is the most important, the offensive line. Little bit more depth here than what I initially thought. But then we kind of get a little shakeup here when it comes to the injured reserve situation. So as it stands right now, our tackles on the offensive line, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, and I'm going to put an asterisk beside him because I'm going to talk about him, Cam Irving, Brandon Knight, and Terrence Steele. I wish I paid more attention to this guy because he's a mystery to me. But here's the thing. Lyle Collins is going to be on injured reserve.
First 3 games.
He came into camp severely overweight, out of shape. I don't think that COVID was kind to him. So he needs to go on IR. And with the COVID situation, they're making injured reserve really special because teams can bring back guys after 3 games. That means that Lyle gets 3 weeks still with the team, still with the trainers, where he can get himself back into shape and come back in starting in the 4th week.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect situation. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's more ideal. And that's why you go in the offseason and go get certain pieces. I think Terrence Steele, have no clue what that dude does. I knew he got his tail whooped a lot this training camp, but I don't know who he is. But, getting Cam, he'll be able to be adequate enough to give us those first couple of games. I really hope that by game 2, maybe 3, that I got Brandon Knight out there playing, because that's who I trust. I trust him a lot more than I do Cam Irvin. But I think it also just gets back to the point where, 2020 and this COVID-19 thing has been a really tough situation for everybody. And Lyle not coming in shape hurts a lot. But that goes to the point, man, when you ain't got to show up for work, you may not do all the stuff you're supposed to do.
That's right.
You might not fill out all the paperwork. You may not make sure all the logs are tight. But then you come back and like, oh, snap, I got to do all this. Absolutely. And that's kind of where he's at. So I think in 3 weeks he'll be ready to go.
Now, who do you want starting in his spot in week 1? Or rather, I should say, let's go with week 1. Who do you want starting at that right tackle spot in week 1?
Listen, I want Brandon Knight out there. But I know with a shortened season and no OTAs and no time where the coach can see these guys, I've got to go with veterans these first through 4, 5, 6 weeks so that I can get off to the fast start I need to go to, and I can go forward inside the system, into the season. Okay. Because these first 3, every game counts in the NFL. That's something we've always known. But if I can go with a veteran who knows the speed of the game, who's seen it and gone with it, Philbin feels more comfortable with him. If Philbin feels comfortable with it, McCarthy feels comfortable with it. So I think that's the direction we're going. But my prayer is within by the time we get to playing Cleveland and get in week 3 or Cleveland week 3, because I think we play Seattle in week 4. Yeah, Brandon Knight's out there doing his thing.
I'm not willing to just dive out onto that sword just yet, because I think the O-line is one of the positions where you kind of got to go with the safe pick. You can't take a chance on a guy because you're gonna end up getting somebody killed. So I think that you got to go with the vet. You got to go with Cam Irving to start out.
Right.
If for some reason Cam behaves, just much less than admirably, and you feel the need to put Brandon Knight out there, I wouldn't do it just to go out on a limb.
I don't think you're going out on a limb with Brandon Knight playing. Brandon Knight played for you last year. Brandon Knight put his snaps against Green Bay. Brandon Knight put his snaps against the Jets. I don't think you're just throwing a guy out there. I think what you're doing is you're going with safety because, and familiarity with the league and with the new coaching staff, Cam was the guy who that coaching staff decided to brought him in from Kansas City because he's been able to play all 5 offensive line positions. Okay, yes. I need him week 1. I need him to be a professional, show up and go do his thing. That's great. Mm-hmm. So I'm not taking a chance on it, but I know if they get a chance to be around Brandon Knight more, they'll see he's better than Cam Irvin.
Yes.
He's better than Cam Irvin, and I can go forward from there. And that may help me down the road later on in the season because I may need to bring up a young linebacker or somebody, and if Brandon Knight's playing, I can cut Cam Irvin. See?
Interesting.
It always works out. It all works out in the sauce.
Hey. So we're gonna move it inside a little bit on our O-line at the guard position. We got 3 guys that we knew would make the team. Zach Martin and both of the Connors, William and McGovern.
Absolutely.
There was zero doubt in my mind that those 3 would be the guys. I think that Cam Irving kind of gave them the what's the word I'm looking for? Comfort of only going 3 at guard, because if worst come to worst, kick Cam over there because he has experience playing.
Right, and so he gives you that flexibility.
Yeah.
He gives you that flexibility. So, and that also helps you get my man Brandon Knight. I think this is the get Brandon Knight on. I'm gonna give me a sign saying put Brandon Knight on the field because Cam has played that, you can do that. But it also goes back to a testament of 2 things. One, the 3rd year, Connor Williams, bad ACL tear, has the opportunity to stay in the star all off season, work, get his body back, get stronger. But now he's got not only the mental reps, he's got the physical reps, and now he's saying, hey, now I can play faster. So he comes right into camp, boom, looking like that guy, which is a great situation for them.
Can we pause and talk about how great it is that Connor Williams came back from a late season ACL tear without having to worry about going on IR at all? That speaks volumes to his readiness.
Oh, it's a testament to him and how he carried himself, how he continues to realize he has something to prove, and it's a great place for him to be in. And I'm glad he's coming back, and I'm looking for big things from.
Hey, you doubted him. You doubted him.
I did. I didn't think he was gonna get back. I doubted him. I said I didn't think he was gonna get back, and I thought it was gonna be Connor McGovern over there. But it also goes back to saying the 3rd year. That's what me and my naivety to turn around and say, oh, he's not. He said, hey, this is my 3rd year. I'm going to do what I need to do to get better. I'm going to come back, be a professional, and boom, that's where he's at. So I'm excited about that for Connor Williams.
Absolutely. And right in the middle of the O-line, 2 guys that we also knew once again would make the team. Good old Joe Looney, and Tyler Biadasz.
Hey, man, listen. Joe's a man of faith. Yep. Joe's a good ball player.
Yep.
And also what Joe has on his resume is that the year he was the starting center, Ezekiel Elliott was the NFL rushing leader. NFL rushing champion.
Yeah.
So I have to give Joe that. And I think Joe comes. I think Joe, you get a different Joe. Think about this one. Joe found out he was going to be the starter preseason week 3 or 4. He found out, he found out. So he goes into the season not having a full camp, not totally prepared to be the starter with all the reps. So I think that helped him out. I think he'll be a different Joe Looney. I still don't think he has a lot of power. I think he's a great move guy. And he still got picked up like a child by Dominican Sue. He ain't getting that off his resume.
Now, Chris, we talked about this before. We mentioned how dangerous it is to still have this faith in the person that has burned you in the past.
Listen, he didn't burn me. He didn't burn me. I got a little singed though. I felt the heat.
Little char.
I felt the heat.
It's a little char.
Yeah, I'm a little charred.
Yeah.
So I don't need Joe Looney to be Travis Frederick. But I need Joe Looney to be a better version of himself until I can get Tyler Biadasz up to speed and bring him in to replace him.
Now, when we are talking about the offensive line, and I know I'm going to contradict myself right here. I said that you don't want to go with the risky pick. I want Tyler out there ASAP. I need Tyler to pick up his playbook. I need him to take it home with him. I need him to get it on audiobook. I need him to read it in a different language as well. I want Tyler out there ASAP.
I don't think it's the fact that Tyler's not picking up his playbook. I don't think it's that he's not prepared. I think that with a shortened offseason, you've got to go with people you can trust as veterans. Yeah. And I think Joe Looney comes in as a professional. Joe Looney has been a professional guy, and he's ready to take on this challenge. So I'm saying by week, you look at week 5, 6, 7, 8, because as we looked when we did the study on Joe got weaker as the season went on. Joe started showing signs of his limitations as the weeks went on. When he got to the game against the Tennessee Titans, he was not that guy earlier. When he got to that game against the Colts, he was done.
Yeah. The tank was empty. The tank was empty.
Hey, he was on fumes. And then once he got to that divisional game with the Rams,
he was a cardboard cutout.
Dominican would have had him burped him and said, "Hey, he's done." Yeah. You hit him with the "you're done, son." Hit him with the "done, son."
Exactly.
And they got him up out of there. So that's what we had to deal with. But I think Tyler Biadasz will be in the lineup. He will be giving you quality snaps by mid-year. Because, we got 20 games to play, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm good with that.
So that wraps up the offensive side of the ball. We're going to move on to the defensive side now.
Okay.
And we're going to start up front because this is where I feel the most excitement. This is where, you get that bubbling up in your stomach and you just feel it from within.
Senator Six style. Give it to me, B.
So I'm gonna start on the outside first. Obviously we got D-Law and and Everson Griffin.
Okay.
But then you get Aldon Smith, and this is the 53-man roster as of right now. It does not include Mr. Randy Gregory. It has listed as edge rushers DeMarcus Lawrence, Tyron Crawford for some odd reason. Maybe this is a little mislabeled. Everson Griffin, Aldon Smith, Dorrance Armstrong, and Bradley Anath.
Well, those are your 6. Those are your 6 guys. I don't think it's a mistype or misplaced for Tyron Crawford. Tyron Crawford was supposed to play defensive end. He's better as a defensive end. He's not the bendy guy that you would have in a Randy Gregory. But what he is he has a solid, strong side type defensive lineman who can set edges. He has great technique, and he will be a great addition or a great backup guy on that left side. But he can also move inside and play a little 3 technique. So he kind of covers 2 areas with his expertise and how many games he's played as a Dallas Cowboy. So I think Tyron Crawford's in a great situation. I really like it.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna name the interior guys because I want the unit as a whole to be fully named before I give my input. On your interior defensive lineman, you have Dontari Poe, Tristan Hill, Antoine Woods, and Neville Gallimore.
There you go.
Now, this right here is a total of 10 guys.
Yep.
In my list, I had all of these guys with Randy Gregory in addition. I had 11 defensive linemen.
There you go.
I am not sure who they are going to get rid of or at what position in order to make room for Randy. Because everybody named, all 10 of these guys that I did name are great guys. I don't see a reason why they shouldn't be on this team.
Right. I think you turn around and you've got an opportunity with like a Rico Dowdle getting, cut, by week 6 or 7.
Yeah.
You've got, ways all set up. If God forbid somebody gets hurt, you've still got to be able to put Randy in and be able to put him on the roster. You got the ability to keep the snaps down to your early 30, late 20s guys and help them as well. So I think having, Lord Voldemort, he that shall not be named, him himself, Randy Gregory, in your pocket by week 7, I think it helps you get to the point that you can utilize him and he'll be a great addition, for the mid stretch all the way to the championship type run for us.
Absolutely. I don't want to give up any of these guys. I'm looking at another position if I have to make room for Randy. Come.
Oh yeah. Make that. Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that I see here, and I'm still talking about the defensive front.
Right.
When it comes to your interior, I'm looking to mix those snaps up a lot because Tristan Hill has turned me into a believer.
Who?
Tristan Hill has turned me into a believer.
You mean you down with Trigger Trey?
I'm down with him. I'm down with him.
And
I am man enough to admit when I am wrong. I was not high on Tristan Hill when he was drafted or coming into camp based on how he performed. I thought that he was just he would have been a guy that was in danger of not making this roster. And then he comes in and performs spectacularly.
Admirably.
Yes.
To the point that you can put him in his natural position as a 3 technique, let him play, let him run, let him flow, and be the guy that he's going to be. I think it's a great testament to him. I think it's a great testament to the guys around him that he said, hey, I'm not going to listen. He did what Taco couldn't.
Yes.
Taco listened to the media. Taco listened to the outside noise and didn't realize that I am that guy. He came in, did his thing. Shout out to the young Triggy himself, Trigger Trey himself, and what he's done. I think Neville Gallimore is a part of that rotation for further on. I don't think this is a knockdown for Neville Gallimore. I just think it is a guy having more talent, having a chance to showcase it, and then giving Neville Gallimore the chance to dress, get snaps, work on it, and come next year, you'll have a really dynamic, young, athletic interior line with a Neville Gallimore, with a Tristan Hill. And, if Dontari Poe is still around doing this thing, we'll go from there. So I'm excited about it, along with Antoine Woods.
Absolutely. Let's move it back a level. Here at our linebackers, they went lighter here than what I thought they would. They got 5 linebackers, really only 4 because we got to put an asterisk beside one Sean Lee's name. So we got LVE and Jalen Smith. Sean Lee, who will be going to injured reserve. Once again, injured reserve is a special circumstance this year. But then you also have Joe Thomas and Luke Gifford.
Yes. I'm excited about all those guys because Sean Lee will go down into the Hall of Fame of really great players who couldn't stay healthy long enough to showcase his talent, but when he got on the field, he was that guy. So that will be the Hall of Fame he's in. And I think it helps him get to that next step of his career of being a coach. But he will bring along those guys, the Luke Giffords, continue to work with LVE and get him more comfortable. Continue to work with Jalen Smith and get him to the point he is. So I think those 3 weeks he's on IR, he won't be able to play, but he'll still be able to input to that linebacker core. And I'm excited about that.
Are you surprised that they went light at linebacker?
I don't think they went light at linebacker. I think they went where they had to go, because I think with Lee going to IR, you can bring back a Francis Bernard, put him there. I think you got your replacement of Justin March Lillard for the special teams in the Ventrell Bryants, in the Noah Browns, in the Rico Dowdle. So that's what I think they did. And I think it gives those guys an opportunity to just shine and go out and make a name for themselves.
Now, I'm hoping that, we can bring back a guy like Francis Bernard who was actually able to make a name for himself in camp. Another team can come up and snatch him up at the snap of a finger. Luckily, it's pretty late in the day at this point. Technically, It's a new day. So he could be brought back to this team as early as a few hours from now.
So if that's the case, you accomplished your job. You got a good, young, athletic, talented guy who wants to be here, who showed you potential, and you get to stash him, get him on his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, get him understanding what he needs to do in the defense, and boom, you can now let Sean Lee go on into retirement the way he needs to, and you don't have that drop off. So I'm excited about that. I think you bring back a Francis Bernard, and he'll be that guy to be in addition to the linebacker core.
So just gonna backtrack a little bit. We know that they want to bring Lyle Collins back after that 3 weeks on the injured reserve. Do you foresee them bringing back Sean Lee after 3 weeks, or what do you think his situation is gonna be?
It's going to be if LVE is playing well and is healthy, if Jalen is feeling into what he's doing, and it may be to the point, you can ease it back, because Sean Lee is the break glass in case of emergency guy.
That's right.
I think you're better across the board with Joe Thomas playing, and you got, like I said, you got Francis Bernard there. Luke Gifford's getting some snaps. I think, if we're in trouble, crack the glass. We're going to insert Sean for 8 games. We know he'll be fine. But I'm not, and I really don't need to have any problem, because I'm playing 20. So if he's playing 8, he's right inside his wheelhouse.
Perfect. So let's move it back a level to the cornerbacks. We got Chidobe Awuzie, Trayvon Diggs, Darryl Worley, Anthony Brown, and Jordan Lewis.
I have no problem with this cornerback situation. Those are the guys who, coming in camp, we thought would be who they were. Everybody was trying to figure out a way to cut Chidobe, send Jordan Lewis somewhere. But it just goes back to our motto. It goes back to our slogan, which is what, B?
Coaching matters 100% of the time.
Coaching matters. So we won't find out how bad fully Rob Marinelli and Chris Richard were, but we see glimpses of it with them disguising coverages and guys making plays on the ball. I mean, we've been going the whole training camp, and it's been like interception.
That's
play
right.
made the ball by these DBs, which is a good thing.
Now, I was actually a little bit surprised. C.J. Goodwin has always been one of the better special teamers on this team, and he got the cut. Why do you think that they didn't throw the special teams coach a bone to try to keep the better guys in his corner?
But you did throw him a bone. You threw him a bone. You threw him a bone in the body of Francis Bernard. You threw him a bone in the body of Luke Gifford. You threw him a bone in the body of Noah Brown. You threw him a body in the bone of Rico Dowdle. You gave Bones exactly what Bones needed.
There we go.
Young athletic guys willing to play and make plays. And Justin Marshall had been here 4 years.
Yeah.
He'd been here 4 years, and you had never – I mean, outside of knowing his name, you hadn't heard him in practice or anything, doing anything that made it to the point you wanted to get him more on the field. So I think it happens like that. That's how the NFL is. It's a not-for-long league.
There we go.
3-4 years, time to move on. I hope everything's well and blessed for him and his family. But yeah, I need the new younger guys, and I'm good with them.
100% of the win. 100% with you. Now, there's kind of clamorings that Jordan Lewis may go to IR too. What do you think about that?
Well, because he can come back by week 8, I think it's a short-term IR. I don't think it's a season-ending IR. So I'm good with that. And it gives me the ability to get guys on the field to get snaps they need. I need Diggs out there getting snaps. I need those players getting better out there on the field doing. I need Jordan Lewis to prove me if I need to give him more money or I just use him as a comp pick. I need Chidobe to get better and show me what he can do in a contract year or be a comp pick. So I think it works out for everyone.
Now, here's the thing about Jordan Lewis, and IR in general. He may potentially be able to be brought back after week 3, so he doesn't even have to do the full 8 weeks if possible. This is an interesting situation considering some of the guys that the Cowboys have met with over the past couple of days.
Right.
And I'm gonna touch on the safeties before I really get into that. The safeties, this happened to line up exactly with what I said, with the addition of one guy. It was Darian Thompson, Donovan Wilson, Xavier Woods, and Reggie Robinson.
I think you did a great job with keeping the best players you could, looking to the future, seeing the potential in Wilson. I got to keep him on the field. But I think with the addition of one guy who shall not be named, but it's kind of speculated with a Brandon Carr, you get another professional in the secondary. You get a professional, hardworking, dedicated, attention to detail guy that will be able to pass that on to my younger guys there. I need someone that's going to continue to help Xavier Woods become a pro. I need someone to walk Donovan Wilson through the process of becoming the player he needs to be. So I'm excited about if he does come. He excites me more than Earl Thomas coming, because if I know if Earl Thomas comes, I won't see Donovan Wilson. And if I don't see Donovan Wilson this year, I go into next year trying to figure out my safety situation.
Absolutely. We mentioned progress stoppers.
Yes.
We spoke briefly on Jason Witten a little bit. Earl Thomas, as good as he may be, would be a progress stopper when it comes to Donovan Wilson.
Yes.
Now, touching on Brandon Carr a little bit, though, where is the line between skill as a player and the ability to A, stop progress, or B, break apart a locker room? Because Brandon Carr, while he would be a great locker room guy, does he still have it? Guys generally move from corner to safety when they lose a bit of their game. Is Brandon Carr being a great guy worth him not being, as good potentially as any of the guys that we have on our team?
Well, I think we've seen the transition for some guys. We watched Charles Woodson go from great corner to good safety. We watched Rod Woodson go from great corner to good safety. So I think the pushback to him going there is good for the team. And like I said, he gets to help mature some guys back there. He gets to work with Donovan Wilson. He gets to work with Robinson, get him up to speed, teaching him how to be a pro. And I think it works out wholeheartedly. And he doesn't have to be the savior. That was the biggest problem with Brandon Carr, is that when he signed that contract, the world expected him to be the savior. He didn't have to be the savior. He can now come in and be a piece to the system and be a productive piece, and working in conjunction with the front seven, it'll be a perfect fit, I think.
Do you want Carr on this team?
If I had my way, had my choice, yeah, I'd have him on the team. I would have Brandon Carr on this football team, because I don't lose a year of progress for Donovan Wilson. I don't lose a young player like Robinson, seeing a guy who not one stop, but in 2 stops, not show up on time for meetings, not be accountable for his actions. And I need that so I can move forward.
Absolutely.
Is Earl Thomas an amazing talent? Absolutely. Is
Yes,
he
sir.
better at certain things? Of course. But the one thing that I get with Brandon Carr, I get a professional. I get a guy who gonna show up every day to work. Because we looked at the stat, B, 192 of 192.
Yep.
You can't
Hasn't
beat
missed a
that with a
single
bat.
game due to injury.
And for the last time, ever since he got a job, he done showed up to work for his job.
Every single day, on time.
Every single day.
Not coming back late from lunch, no nothing.
Nah, he take his breaks and then he comes back. So
That's
I'm
right.
good with Brandon.
That's right. And that's all the guys and position groups that matter. No need really naming the special teamers. Only guy
Oh no,
that's new
my
is
brother.
Greg the Leg.
Hold on, my brother. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm
Hold on
going
now.
to talk briefly. I know it's late. You tired and I'm tired. But let's talk about the upgrade that you got in special teams.
Oh yes.
Remember,
yes, that is very
last
worth
year,
mentioning.
we lost 3 games because of special teams.
Yes.
Late kicks, bad punting, special teams not being on point. We're getting field goals blocked. We've lost 3 games. You can never. It'll be the funniest thing to say. The 2019 Dallas Cowboys is an anomaly because they were 8-8. But with much talent, they shouldn't have been 8-8. They had enough little things to sink that ship to get them where they wanted to be. And like me and you've talked before, if those things are all together, if you're not 32nd in special teams, maybe say you're 28, 29, let's say you're 27th, guess what? You make the playoffs.
That's an improvement.
Yeah, it's an improvement. At last year, I expect them to be far better. I think this year they'll go from 32nd to probably maybe 10th or 12th.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it.
And that'll help out a lot of different things. So
and you can see on the leg of Greg that they have the potential to be there. He hasn't missed a single field goal. This is multiple dozens at this point. He hasn't missed a single field goal in camp.
I think before they closed camp, I think he missed one for like 50. I think it was like 55, 60. I think he missed one. But I mean, hey man, that's totally different than what you had to deal with a couple years back. You know, when you had Brett Maher, being shaky in there. When you had Dan Bailey having the yips, totally different. I think both guys, Chris Jones being injured last year, fighting through it, and Greg Zuerlein being injured and it's already documented that he was injured, but he was trying to kick through it. It works out. So I think the special teams are 100% better, but that also comes back with the addition of Bones Fossil.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That may be the biggest improvement right there.
Absolutely.
So now that we've gone over the whole roster, were there any guys that you were kind of rooting for that didn't make the cut?
That I was rooting for?
Yeah.
I was rooting for Francis Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for, we all know who I was rooting for. I was rooting for my boy Trigger Trey to get a chance. And once he got it, he did his thing. But
what about a guy that didn't make the roster though? Would that be Francis Bernard?
I thought Francis Bernard would make the roster. I like the name of Savion Smith, but this will be Savion Smith's 3rd team in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So there may be something that may be that Alabama bump that some of these guys are getting, that he may not be that guy. So I thought Savion Smith would make the team or do something, but he didn't do anything like that. So I'm the only guy that outside out of Tristan, Francis Bernard. That's it. What about you?
I knew that, and the guy that I'm gonna name, I knew that he would not make the team, but I was still rooting from him from the beginning of camp. I was a huge fan of John Van Johnson after camp last year. Huge fan.
Out of Toledo.
Yeah, huge fan.
Yeah.
And he did not do enough this training camp. He had one good day. And Noah Brown locked that spot up. Had it in a chokehold. Won't let it go. So
won't let it go.
I did not think that Donovan will Jesus Christ. I did not think that John Van Johnson was going to make this team.
Right.
But he was a guy that I really had hopes for. He may end up being a practice squad guy because this is just his 2nd year. But it was a steep decline from how he performed last year.
I don't think it's just so much a steep decline. I think it was just a progression of Noah Brown being healthy and playing better. Cedric Wilson being becoming the guy who they were hoping he would become, and Ventrell Bryant just being the special team guy he is. Because at the end of the day, if you're the 4th, 5th, and 6th receiver, you got to do more than receiver things.
Absolutely.
And that's what he wasn't able to do. So he'll be in the practice squad. So he'll either do one or two things. He'll either be extraordinary at what he does as a route runner and be able to become the 4th receiver, or he'll learn how to play special teams and get a chance to make the team like that next year.
Absolutely. And obviously we see how that ended for him. He's on the street.
Yeah.
So we went down the whole roster, man. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
Man, this is what I want to touch on, man.
Okay.
Last but not least. I want to touch on, man, that I'm so excited that I'm walking into a season in 15 years, and I feel like I got a chance to get to the NFC Championship. I'm not making sure everything's got to go right, but I think that I've got a great staff, coaching staff. I think I've got the people in place, and I got enough of I want to prove you wrong in a lot of these guys that I got a chance to be a real true contender. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
The roster is exactly what I need to be. What about you, bro?
This is one of the first times, and I say this a few times here and there. The Cowboys are one of the only teams where we feel like we need all pros at every position.
Yes.
And I feel like that was a bit of trauma from the last coaching regime. We had to win in spite of a lot of the faults from that coaching staff, I should say. I feel like with this upgraded coaching regime, because the roster isn't the only place where we've seen upgrades. With this upgraded coaching regime, we stand a chance to win those 2 and 3 games that coaching is normally going to be responsible for every season, because coaching does matter. Don't forget that.
Right.
So that change renews that excitement for me.
Mm-hmm.
That we have so much talent, and it can really translate to the highest level of success. That's right. The last thing I got.
So we go back from being, we got so much talent, but everybody else has talent, that now you can take that quote unquote talent, put it on the field, and get you your end result, which is wins.
That's right.
That's it.
So we took up a lot of y'all time today, but we really dissected a lot. If you stuck through this, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Man.
If you haven't already.
What time are we at? What's the time on the video?
Oh, it's too long. I can't even see it until I push the stop button. But if you haven't already, click that like button, and of course, and you should be subscribed already. If you're not, shame on you. But leave a comment below. We really like interacting with our audience. And just please stick around for more content just like this. It's going to really ramp up as the season gets back. This has been another episode of Frankly Football. I'm Brandon, and here we go.
Hey, man, that's it, man. Hey, I'm setting off Chris, man. We up out of here, man. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well on Facebook. We'll put a link in the description, and we'll kind of lay out some of the things we're going to be able to do next week, man, as we get into game week, and go from there, man. Thanks for spending time with us, y'all, man. Peace.